So to free up some more room around the shop, I wanted to knock out one of the doors and a couple other smaller pieces that I had sitting around because we still have some body work and some painting left to do, and knocking out any of it now and trying to reduce how much we have later is a big win. So wanted to start with one of the doors. I did have an issue where I had one of the windows up on one of them, but thankfully I just got this power bank when we did those taillights, so rolling the window down really wasn't that big of a problem. But stripping these down definitely took longer. That black gummy goo stuff that goes around the inside of the door where that plastic sheeting is just took forever to clean off. After prepping the doors, tossed them in the paint booth. I wasn't anticipating to paint or primer, do anything tonight, so when I came over, I left my head cam at home. It's no big deal, you guys have seen me paint a million times. As I've learned from the past, we're gonna go ahead and let the doors sit overnight, or anything that we've primered, just to let that epoxy primer cure up, sand them down. There was some small defects on the door that I wanted to correct, so grabbed some glazing putty, spreaded that over, let it cure, then sanded everything smooth. Once again, I've been doing 320, 400, 600 on all of the panels that we are painting. And once again, huge shout out to our guys over at Eastwood for supplying us with our paints, our primers, and our clear coats. If you guys are looking at painting any of your own projects at home, definitely hit them up. They can get you any OEM color that you may be looking for, or any other weird color that you might have off the top of your head, as long as you got a paint code. Trying to work on my technique with painting, finding the right speed, finding the right distance. I've been trying to get a little bit closer to the panels, but there's like this weird sense of like uncomfortableness for some reason on bigger panels. On these headlight buckets and the smaller items like that, it's no problem for me to do it, but I feel like I'm gonna get runs on the bigger stuff, and I know I won't, as long as I go at the appropriate speed. I got my flow settings all set properly, but we get it dialed in. We get it pretty figured out. With everything else we've been painting, I do 3 coats of base as well as 3 coats of clear on top of that, just to give myself enough clear coat to work with once everything's off gas and cured when we do go to wet sand and polish the car out. I want to make sure that I've got as much clear coat as possible. I wish I could have gone back to my prior self when I painted the body and a couple other pieces here and there and done it a little bit heavier, but live and learn. There's no way of getting better unless we go out and we actually get our hands on this stuff and actually keep practicing and keep trying with it. I'm gonna let these panels sit for about a day or 2 before we really start messing with them. So in the meantime, I did get an order in that I got from Atkins Rotary with a ton of new OEM stuff, like these rear, reverse, and marker lights. They might just be marker lights. I don't think that they're marker lights and reverse lights. You know what, we got some new reverse lights. I wanted to get some new ones because the last owner sprayed some of that VHT nightshade on there and just ruined the lights. As well as the lights, we also got in some new seals. I have been replacing every single seal on this body to make sure that everything is sealed up perfectly. A lot of the old seals were just deteriorated, they were falling apart, there were holes in them, and it was just time to swap them all out. Because we couldn't refinish our factory rear upper control arms because they were just too far gone, I did get this set of Power by Max rear upper control arms. I did have them powder coated in the same silver to match everything else. Prior to the silver, they were like this weird orange anodized looking color. But they look perfect, they look beautiful, they match everything. I am so happy with how parts are coming out painted. Dude, everything looks so much better. Like I'm not going to, but a part of me deep down wants to just repaint the RX-7 all over again. Might do that in the future. Not gonna worry about it right now because a lot of this stuff will wet sand out for what I've already painted. But dude, I
have gotten significantly better. This door, not a single run. There is crap in the paint, but that'll wet sand out. But like, dude, it's like so much better. I have learned the technique of painting. Like, look at these headlight buckets. They look freaking pristine. That looks so good. Like, so freaking good, man. That makes me want to repaint the entire car. Like I said, I'm not going to, but door came out absolutely beautiful. I did mask off all this black. I don't have any black paint, and I wasn't sure if that needed to stay black or not, and the paint on it is totally fine. It's just where the seals sit, so I left it black. But the door itself came out so good. There is definitely orange peel in it, but we can wet sand all of that out. But like this, there's no dry spots on it except for like maybe right here from the last coat that I did. But aside from that, it looks so freaking good. So I actually want to get this door on. There's a couple things I gotta do. The first thing, let's just get these wheel studs in our spindle over here so we can get the other rear spindle on the RX7. Just so that way we can have almost complete suspension, because Ben told me he was gonna bring up the rear arms today. And if that's the case, then we'll have complete rear suspension on the car and we can actually put the rear wheels on here. And then at that point, I'm just waiting on this front lower control arm for right here to ship out like we have on the other side. Look at that. Goes right in.
I mentioned it before, I'm gonna mention it again. When you go to put your spindle in your new wheel bearing, freeze the spindle and lightly grease the wheel bearing. It's gonna make your life so much easier putting this thing in. You should minimize the risk of damaging the wheel bearing and popping it out and then having to get a new one. I will say it is so nice seeing all of the suspension going back, for the most part, all the suspension going back on this car, because that means we are that much closer to having this thing as a rolling chassis again, which it has not been in months. Now, I needed new bumper brackets. As you guys can see, the rear bumper brackets actually rusted out into two pieces, and thankfully Mazda still sells these, so I could get a new set. Now originally they're riveted into the bumper, but I don't have the proper rivets to try to rivet into fiberglass without destroying the fiberglass. So I opted to use these. They're like M4 screws with a lock washer, and they shouldn't fall off. They should be totally fine on there. They should hold the bumper brackets on, and it's gonna make the bumper brackets easily removable in the future in case we do need to swap them out again. I highly doubt that we do, because it took 30 years for the old ones to rust out and fall into multiple pieces. By the time I got that done, Ben did bring over our lower rear control arm, and we used a different Cerakote on this because we had just run out of the original color that we were using. I don't think it looks bad. It adds nice little contrast to the rear suspension, I guess. But to be honest, it's coated, it's protected, it still looks good. I have no complaints with it. Oh my God, dude. We have fucking suspension. Holy shit. I wanna put wheels on here real quick and just. This is the first time the RX-7 has been technically speaking, off the lift and on the ground in 3 months. The rear suspension's on, the rear wheels are on, it's on the ground. I have a jack holding up the front of the car right now. I have to obviously put it back up on the lift. I actually need to take this fender off and that headlight bucket out because we are gonna toss on that passenger door that we painted earlier. But dude, it definitely needs to come down lower, but oh, what a good feeling. What a good, just like a wholesome feeling right now. Oh, baby. Look at that. Look at that. She is on the ground. And look, landed right back in the squares. Right back in the squares that I originally put on. Oh my God. It's nice to see the color match between what we just painted and everything else we painted.
It's still spot on also. But dude! Now I will say the rear end does look a little bit vanilla right now, but that's okay. I haven't shown you guys yet, but we have this massive rear diffuser to put on the car at some point. I don't know when we're gonna put that on. We might put that on today, we might put that on later. I don't quite know yet, but that will help the rear end an absolute ton. Same with our Mazda Speed wing that we still have to paint. We actually have a very custom dry carbon fiber blade being made for that wing, so it'll look really good painted white with a dry carbon blade on there. It's just gonna be money. Absolutely incredible feeling. Absolutely. It's very difficult to film with the door open because the contrast between the white and everything else, it just wants to blow the white out, but it looks so freaking good. Now while you guys weren't looking, I did go ahead and powder coat our door hinges because they looked pretty nasty, so I have those in the oven right now baking. Once those are done, we're gonna get those on the door, then get the door back on the chassis. Like I said, I am gonna take this fender off just to make getting the door on a little bit easier because we do just need to get the bolts in right there for the hinges to make sure that it all goes on, and I don't want to damage the paint on here. So we'll do all that here in a minute after those hinges are done. Here will soften the blow if I accidentally drop. Do have one of the latches on, but not the other. Still have a lot of alignment to do, but our door is on. I also tossed on one of our mirrors, which I am absolutely loving that style, especially with the carbon accents we have going on. The carbon wing blade that's gonna be going on the Mazda Speed wing, dude, it's just gonna set all of this off. I am absolutely in love with how this thing is coming out. I did opt to steal the Regamasters off the STI for the RX-7. The white on white looks so freaking good, dude. Once we have fitment dialed in and tire size dialed in, that is gonna look amazing, especially with everything else that we have going on in this car. The 99, it looks like a monster truck right now, I know, but the 99 spec bumper, the Ganador mirrors, the white Regamasters, all of it just looks so good. Once it's all actually tied together in there, it's just gonna be crisp. I wanna go ahead and get the lip for the RX-7 permanently put on the bumper, or at least actually on the bumper, because right now it's just kinda half-ass zip tied on just to get it up and off the floor. So I got some little metal riv nuts. They're not even riv nuts, I don't even know. Nut certs, something, you slide them over and then they have a threaded portion so that way you can put stuff in. So let's get this lip permanently on here so that way it's not like half-ass on there, because right now it's just kind of dingle-dangling. So this is how I opted to do the lip. Now keep in mind, this is a KBD lip right now. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It fits perfect. So I used only factory mounting holes. So I used these little slip-on M6x1 nut certs. I have self-tappers in only the spots that look like they'd have them from the factory. And then up underneath this lip piece down here, I've got these small little M4x1s just to keep everything tightened down, and I used every factory spot. I have pop clips in the spots that would normally have pop clips. Super happy with the fitment of this, to be honest. So let's get this thing back on the car real quick, see what it looks like. But just to show you guys, it's just like these little nut certs, and they just slide onto the bumper. You drill a hole and then use an M6x1 nut that goes up there. I would suggest one that has a flanged head on it, or a washer if you don't have flanged head ones, just to make sure you get a good bite onto that lip. But I want to see what this thing looks like actually mounted up on this bumper back on the RX-7. Because it's had this lip on there, but it's actually on there now, which is, you know, nice little change of pace. Dude, the studs never want to line up with the bumper. it seems like. There we go. Wow, the bumper actually fits better with the lip actually on there. It's like it keeps the bumper contorted where it needs to be. So super happy with how the front lip came out, dude. It actually fit way better than I was anticipating it to. Now, I went ahead and I test fit the rear diffuser on the car, and yeah, I don't think I'm gonna use this. It fits like absolute shit. It's kind of hard to see on camera because it's like super black down here. I'm gonna blow out the picture so you guys can see. So, I mean, it does fit, but the right side sits so much lower than the left side for some reason. I mean, it's only kind of temporarily put in there, so maybe I will give it another shot. I'm gonna leave it on the car to maybe try and conform to the car a little bit, but dude, it just does not fit well at all. I will say that is a no-name rear diffuser, so the fact that it does kind of fit like shit doesn't surprise me. I thought I'd get away with it. Apparently not. I mean, the KBD's not no-name, they're name brand and they fit well. I was about to say, well, the lip is no-name. The lip is definitely name brand. Well, that sucks. I'm glad I know now though. There's still a long way to go with the RX-7. I was gonna reuse the stock hood and paint it, but to be honest, I don't love it on the car. So what I think I'm gonna do is get the, I think it's called the Street Hunter hood, or I think it is the Street Hunter hood, where it has the reverse scoop for the V-mount, couple carbon fiber vents. We mask up the vents, we leave those carbon, we paint the rest of the hood. We probably leave that reverse scoop carbon also, paint the rest of the hood white. I think that would be a great addition to the front end to make it just look even that much better. I think it won't put it over the top, especially with, dude, these mirrors and the other carbon accents that we'll have on the car. I'm gonna get some carbon skirts, but that's all I got for you guys on this one. I am trying to get as much work done as possible in these videos, which is why they take me a little bit longer compared to the traditional videos we've done where they've just been pumped out video after video. I don't want to just upload videos on the RX-7. I'm doing the same stuff over and over again. I'm trying to get a good chunk of stuff done so that way we can just get, like, make real progress per video, if that makes sense. So next week, our transmission, rear differential, we're gonna take those up to go get dry ice blasted. Once we have those in the car, I think at that point I'm gonna start on the engine. I actually don't know if I've shown you guys this yet. I sent our manifolds out for powder coat and Cerakote, so the bottom portion of the intake manifold is Cerakoted for heat. The top is powder coated. This is gonna be our accent color on the car, so our brakes are gonna be this color. Any little accent piece is going to be this. It's called Highland Bronze. Looks phenomenal. For the engine, we're gonna do black, bronze, black, bronze, black, bronze, so that way it just stacks out like that. It's gonna look so freaking good in the engine bay. I think we're gonna do the turbo, that Highland Bronze as well. I think this polished looked really good when we had the car silver, and I'm sure it would look really good white. Maybe I don't. Maybe we leave that polished. What do you guys think? Should we powder coat that the same bronze as the intake manifold, or leave that polished? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. But with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, sight, and whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be able to put it in one of these corners, no idea which one quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.